stagger stance hinge with internal rotation bias. So all we are doing is adding a little bit of internal rotation at the pelvis at the mid-range towards the end range of our hinge. And you may say, Joy, what does that mean? Don't worry, I'm going to tell you. So we're going to do all the same things that we would do for our stagger stance hinge. Nothing changes about that. All we're going to do is think about once we start to get into the mid-range of that hinge. So that just means when we're about halfway down, what we're going to think about is essentially turning our zipper towards our pelvis, towards the side of the pelvis that we are hinging into, okay? So if I have my left leg as my working leg, as I come down, I want to keep that knee facing straight forward, and nothing is going to change about the back side. My glute isn't going to go left or right, okay? It stays in the same spot. I'm just going to come down, and we want to think about that zipper, that inseam right here. As I come down, it's just going to turn a little more towards this side. Now, what you don't want to do as you're doing this is turn like this, okay? I don't want this hip moving away from your knee. I want this hip to stay in the same spot, and you're just going to turn here a little bit. It can also help to think about just dropping this knee over here slightly. So your opposite knee, just dropping it slightly. And what you're gonna feel when you do that is you're gonna feel an even bigger stretch and opening on this side of your glute. So this is your working leg, your front leg, and when you kind of get a little more into that internal rotation, you're gonna feel, oh, this creates even more space along the back of my glute. It is not a big movement, okay? You don't need to be down here doing all of this, okay? So that's not it. If that's what you're doing, you're not doing it right. I don't know how else to say it, okay? So you're gonna come here, hinge, okay? First step is to hinge. Make sure that knee is over the midfoot. We've got glutes lengthening in the back. Nothing is rounding and nothing is getting kinked up like this, okay? So all the stuff that we've been talking about, but once you get a little bit more, again, that mid-range, you're just gonna think about zipper turn slightly. Nothing needs to move here, okay? Not side to side. You should be able to let your opposite knee come down a little bit, and that will just turn you a little more towards this working side. Now, when you have weight in your hand, you can think about the weight is going to kind of move a little more over that first toe and second toe, okay? We can kind of think nose, sternum, knee, toe, all in one line. That's another really kind of helpful way to think about it. Again, you should be feeling this across your butt. You should feel it in your hamstrings. You should not feel it in your low back. We are not twisting at our low back, okay? We're hinging and then letting one side of our pelvis come down slightly. That's really all it is. And it stretches that glute max really nicely and also gets that posterior pelvic floor a little bit more range of motion. All right, that is your stagger stance hinge with internal rotation bias.